The best mobile strategies. It's be indie. Enjoy watching. Steel and Flesh. 2. New Lands is a mixture of medieval 3D action and strategy. You get the opportunity to visit the Middle Ages in 1212, when the Mongol Empire is gaining strength in Asia, and the Crusades are in full swing in the Middle East. At your disposal is a huge map of the world on which 20 major states are located. You have the right to swear allegiance to any state and soon become its king, or create your own, capturing more and more territories. You will be transported to the Middle Ages, where you will perform numerous missions and tasks to capture and conquer new lands. Take control of a small kingdom and do everything possible to increase and expand its lands. Develop your game strategy and don't let the enemies defeat you. Manage a small army, maintain diplomatic relations with other states, and replenish your treasury. Do your best to improve your kingdom and bring it to prosperity. This game is not for casual players. It has many armies and empires that are trying to use force to capture other people's territories and protect their own. Once you've created your character, you're thrown into the adventure, sometimes literally, with nothing but the clothes and gear that the game gives you. This can be very difficult for a new player, especially when you start to manage your own army, and later your own settlements. Bad North. Your homeland has been attacked. The king fell at the hands of the Viking invaders. Hope flickers faintly in the distance and fades with every second. It is at this moment that you come to power and take the place of your father, but now the fate of the country is placed on your shoulders. You have no room for error. This is not a struggle for victory, but a desperate fight for survival. Bad North is a charming yet violent real-time tactics and roguelike. Protect a peaceful island kingdom from Viking hordes. Give orders to your loyal subjects, taking advantage of the tactical advantages provided by the unique shape of each island. Literally everything is at stake. One mistake, and the blood of your subjects will irrigate the earth. The gameplay consists of traveling through various small islands and then defending them from hordes of incoming Vikings. In more detail, your journey begins with the choice of 2 commanders with their own avatars and possible character traits that provide certain benefits, such as reduced damage to the squad assigned to the commander, increased squad strength, and similar accompanying abilities, most of which are already unlocked during campaign and used in further playthroughs. Next, you are shown your home, or a starting island for training. It is also one of dozens of battlefields that you need to defend from waves of robbers of various stripes, sailing from an endless fog and eager to profit from prey on your piece of land. In general, a pleasant tactical puzzle game with the maximum level of brutality that local graphics can afford. The game reveals its potential on hard from about the middle of the map. The gameplay is intuitive, pumping is simple. For mobile devices, that's it. Medieval 2. Total War is a sequel to the medieval game of the same name from the British studio Creative Assembly. The global strategy presents all known countries and displays important episodes of the era, such as the Crusades and the Western campaign of the Mongols. The strategy has become one of the most successful in the Total War series, and fans have created hundreds of mods for it. Total War consists of 2 elements, a global map and a tactical one. On the global map, the player performs various actions every turn, from building in cities and castles to the actions of agents and military leaders. In turn, on the tactical one, the player controls the army and fights with the enemy. Unlike subsequent installments in the series, Medieval 2 does not feature naval battles on the tactical map. Instead, the ships represented by one unit on the global map attack each other, and the loser retreats or is destroyed. Medieval 2 begins its narrative from the beginning of the 11th century, the time of the Crusades and the struggle of the papacy for the purity of the faith. 17 countries enter the struggle for world domination, and each of them, in addition to foreign policy problems, has internal ones. Russian czars cannot cope with a huge territory. The Aztecs are about to be wiped off the face of the earth, and Italy is wondering what to do with a bunch of shreds of city-states dreaming of unification. Starting the construction of a prosperous country in such conditions is not an easy task, but in the 450 years allotted for this by the scriptwriters, it is possible to manage. Rome, Total War. Alexander features a new campaign that focuses on the life of Alexander the Great. Also, in addition, several new factions were added, but the essence of this does not change. It's still the same Total War, with epic battles, a large map, and 3 polygons. The only campaign offers to follow the path of Alexander, from his native Macedonia, through Persia to Babylon and to the east. Further Ganga is not allowed. The authors do not allow us to seriously rewrite history because the game mechanics will inevitably force us to use methods that are alien to the famous commander. Here, he indifferently slaughters entire cities, mercilessly taking away the last belongings from the natives, although in reality, he regretted the plundering of Thebes until his death. Unlike the original and the first expansion, Alexander can offer you only one faction, that is, playing as Alexander the Great himself, and his goal will be to conquer Persia and hold significant cities for a certain number of turns. But, as you can understand, the gameplay has not changed much. You collect an army and go on a campaign through the cities in order to gain world domination. A significant addition to the gameplay is a new defeat condition. If Alexander dies in battle, then the end of the game will come, which is logical because he is a key figure in the game. The world map has also undergone huge changes. It became smaller and stretched to the east. In fact, Rome has disappeared from the map and Greece occupies the westernmost point of the world. This is logical because the history of Rome has been told, and here is the story of the conquest of Persia and India. Dead ahead, zombie warfare. A ruthless world opens before the player. While burning gasoline, explore the cells of locations to find some kind of bonus. The game has as many as 5 areas that are as different as possible from each other. A rotten forest, a dead desert, a gloomy metropolis. What can we say about the diversity of areas, even if the design of game levels is never repeated? You will have to kill zombies near the gates of the prison, the destroyed diner, and the creepy cemetery. We have listed only 3 levels, and there are more than a dozen of them in the game. Battles in Dead Ahead. Zombie warfare go wall to wall. On the right side of the field, the zombies run towards the bus opposite their spawn point. The player's task is to stop the running zombies with the help of their fighters. The summoned people will diligently clobber the dead, moving forward to the barricade, which must be destroyed in order to win. The bloody battles between people and zombies are full of well-animated murder scenes and thick blood splatters. Fresh brains on the pavement and vomit of the dead perfectly complement them. Northgard is a strategy game based on Norse mythology where you control a Viking clan as they fight for control of a mysterious new continent. In the center of the plot is the High King of the Vikings, who was killed and his royal horn was stolen by a man named Hagen. Thus begins the saga that will send the son and heir of King Riga, together with his faithful assistant Brand, to the new continent of Northgard. On these lands, Rig will find new friends and enemies, discover much more evil than Hagen, and learn about why his father died. Unlike classic city-building games, Northgard does not have production or recycling chains. Everything that is available in this game will be used directly for its intended purpose. Food is needed to colonize new lands and keep your people alive. For the construction of buildings and heating houses in harsh winters. Wood, for the maintenance of buildings and for shopping in the market. Gold, for special improvements, stone and metal. The game also has a clan happiness parameter. The higher the happiness, the faster new clan members appear and the better everyone else works. However, the most important resource in the game is people. War Legends is a classic RTS in a fantasy setting. The project is entertaining in that it copies the Warcraft 3 formula, typical races, orcs, humans, dwarves, undead, elves, but at the same time it is a complete and separate game. The developers have added a story campaign with mini achievements, convenient controls, and even voice acting for characters, both in Russian and English. Most of the units in the game have some kind of unique passive property, or even several. Vile poison wings are able to infect enemies without allowing them to recover health. Goblin rocketmen are able to cover units with a blast wave. Guardsmen specialize in fighting cavalry, while mounted knights and wolf riders can strike on the move without stopping their advance. Here too, the principle of rock, paper, scissors applies, and it is very important to take into account the characteristics of the armies opposing you when developing defensive and offensive strategies. If you want old school, drop everything and play the good old RTS again. So that there are orcs and goblins, dwarves and elves, heroes and magic, then War Legends is just for you. Spaceland, sci-fi indie tactics, an action-packed turn-based strategy game that revives the traditions of Incubation and Laser Squad. Lead a team of the most desperate fighters, crush alien monsters, and uncover the secrets of a lost planet. The missions are organized into levels that will take between 5 and 15 minutes to complete. The special tension of the action is given by the fact that you need to fulfill not only the main objectives of the task, but also look for secrets, while it is desirable that this fit into a certain number of moves. The battles are pretty intense. The fighters have good guns, but the supply of ammunition for them is limited. There are low-power barrels with infinite ammo, melee weapons, but this does not appear immediately, and it does less damage than with the main weapons. The plot is inspired by the golden age of science fiction, from Heinlein's novels to iconic comics. You can plunge into the atmosphere of space adventure. Gunsup is a free strategy in which players fight against each other, destroying enemy bases and strengthening their own army. The game combines two genres at once, base capture and tower defense, which makes this game unusual. The main gameplay revolves around destroying bases or defending and upgrading your own base and troops. It's all about strategy and the right use of power to get through and win your battles. It's easy to understand how everything works, but it takes a little time to get good at it. But it's not the best game when it comes to skill requirements. Again, it's pretty easy to draw parallels with Clash of Clans. The game is a PvP title, so you fight against other players, but there are also single-player modes. When you defend against attack, you must properly position and deploy your troops in order to reduce your losses and the number of enemies. Attacks can also occur when you are offline, so it's best to set everything up before leaving the game. There are different classes of fighters that will make up your troops, from regular foot soldiers to grenadiers and everything in between, while special attacks and defenses include smoke grenades and airstrikes that can destroy and disorientate your enemies. Players can also work together with their friends to form alliances and achieve greater success together. All in all, the game is really fun. One of the things that takes some time is leveling things up, and while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it can sometimes be a bit of an inconvenience. You will definitely have to put in some effort to grow and get better at the game. Kingdom 2 Crowns is a minimalist horizontal scrolling microstrategy game with stunning pixel art. Assume the crown, mount your trusty steed, and set out to recruit supporters and build your kingdom. But as you expand your boundaries, don't forget about protection. The hordes of greed are just waiting to take away everything you've earned through overwork. In the new campaign mode, the monarch will have to work hard. After all, here your goal is not only to create a kingdom for centuries, but also to exterminate the troops of greed, putting a decisive end to their attacks on your borders. And don't forget to explore the surrounding lands. New horses and secrets hidden in the bowels of the earth await you. The goal of each of the campaigns is not just to move forward, but to methodically seize and subjugate territories once captured by greed. Yes, you are still sailing from island to island, but the land you left does not cease to exist. It continues to live its own life, its inhabitants are still attacked by greed, and most importantly, one day, having acquired an army and power, you will return there to finish what you started. Necromancer Returns is a turn-based strategy game in which you have to raise an army and fight against hordes of enemies. The world of the fantasy kingdom is disturbed by the return of the Necromancer, a dark entity that wants to enslave all life. Gather the best warriors from all over the kingdom and win the epic battle. The game takes place in a world full of dangerous monsters, magic, and brave warriors. On the seashore, a fisherman finds a strange ruby among the mud and algae, after which he involuntarily releases the evil imprisoned inside him. A devilish shadow hangs over the world, and you have to repel the invasion of dark forces. This game is from a fan of Heroes of Might and Magic. Here you can also go down to the dungeons, buy artifacts, upgrade your units to a new level. On the battlefield, units can work in an interesting combination, combining unique techniques. Also, the spellbook can surprise the outcome of the battle by applying magic to its own or enemy unit. I recommend it to all fans of turn-based battles. Door Kickers is an innovative real-time strategy game that puts you at the head of a SWAT team in a tactical invasion. Analyze the situation, plan routes, select equipment and penetration points, and lead multiple operatives at once to get to the hostage room before the criminals can pull the trigger. At any time, the game can be paused to assess the situation and adjust orders. We draw the police route, mark which directions they need to look, and indicate when and how to use special equipment like stun grenades. At first, the tasks seem obvious. The plan is drawn in 10 seconds and executed in 5 on the first try and without a single scratch on subordinates. but the layout of the maps quickly becomes more complex, and the number and quality of enemies increase. It is impossible to outline a simple and universal scheme for all occasions here. We never even know the approximate location of opponents, and rarely their exact number. Your first attempt to take on a serious mission in a snap will quickly sober up the self-confident commander, no matter how beautifully he painted the map with arrows. Door Kickers is one of those rather rare cases when an original idea has found a qualitative embodiment. Developers regularly throw up new missions, campaigns, and even new features, and in addition offer players to choose the next innovations themselves. Let's hope this continues for a long time. Iron Marines. The creators of the famous Kingdom Rush series have released an unusual space odyssey. A dynamic and thoughtful real-time strategy will take you to stunning unexplored planets. Addictive gameplay, beautiful graphics and light humor, brave soldiers, mighty mechanoids and aliens are ready to go into battle under your command. Recruit and train the galaxy's greatest heroes, send them on dangerous and challenging missions, unleash their potential, strength and abilities. Change your battle strategy in the midst of the battle. Order the Rangers to take sniper rifles, and the flamethrowers to take control of rocket launchers. Turn the tide of battle by accurately throwing bombs, laying mines, strategically placing turrets, and firing all sorts of weapons. After completing the levels, new technologies are unlocked. The research tree is quite large, that will help you move forward in the story. There are not as many units to build as we would like, but they all fulfill their roles. Snipers mow down infantry, flamethrower robots work on small targets, Jedi aliens are great at cutting armored enemies, etc. Robot armies, crashed spaceships, huge monsters, unknown races, daring assaults and sabotage. The galaxy needs you, Captain. Company of Heroes is a critically acclaimed and enduring game based on the events of World War II. It was the game that redefined real-time strategy with its exciting combination of fast-paced campaigns, combat-specific tactics, and dynamic combat environments. Command 2 companies of American soldiers and lead an intense campaign in the European theater of operations, starting with D-Day, the Allied landings in Normandy. Lead American troops against the mighty German Wehrmacht in 15 challenging missions based on some of the toughest combat operations of World War II. In opposing fronts, lead the British Second Army and the German Tank Elite in 2 full-scale campaigns and command both armies in skirmish mode. In Tales of Valor, take part in 3 new mini-campaigns that offer a new look at the Battle of Normandy and use 9 new vehicles in the skirmish mode. In short, Company of Heroes is a classic of the genre that should not be missed, especially after the release on phones. Kingdom Rush. Vengeance is the crown jewel of our list, the legendary representative of tower defense and the 4th game in the Kingdom Rush franchise, developed by Ironhide Game Studio. The game was announced on July 17, 2018, and released on November 22, 2018. The player now assumes the role of the villain Vesnan and returns to Lineria, wreaking havoc. In the new part of the game, you have to lead the army of the Dark Mage and go on incredible adventures to bring his cunning plan to life. Get ready for hardcore battles, building and upgrading towers, and fortifying your line of defense. Hire powerful heroes to join your ranks to fight back the enemy army. There are 4 types of towers in the game: the Tower of Mages, Archers, Barracks, and Artillery, as well as 2 types of spells: Call for Reinforcements and Fire Rain. At the beginning of each level, we have a certain amount of money to buy the first towers. The goal of the player is to destroy all enemies before they get to the end, marked with a blue shield. By killing enemies, we get additional money to build new towers and improve existing ones. In total, the game has 26 levels and 48 types of enemies. Conquer new and familiar lands and get ready to slay 3 mighty kings. Find various artifacts and other useful items and use them to upgrade your heroes. 9 powerful characters, 16 types of towers, and more than 30 possible improvements have been prepared for you. Prove yourself as a true leader and strategist. Conquer empires and defeat powerful bosses. Thanks to Stepan for supporting this release.